Greetings from Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Victor Fursov, and today, October 28, 2019. Today, with the help of my assistants, this demonstrational aquarium with eusocial wasps, Vespacrabro or European hornet, and with the help of this very valuable book of ENGL and Barry Bolton, Hymenoptera, which is about different Hymenopterous insects. I will tell you about family Vespidae. Who are the Vespidae wasps and what is the difference, and then we'll tell you about some peculiarities of biology and distribution and taxonomical position of this wasp. I use this text to don't miss some tiny details. Well, Vespidae, these are eusocial wasps with both sexes fully winged and with winged non-laying worker cased of sterile female, which is secondarily lost in socially parasitic species. I will not tell you some details of morphology, which is most interesting for taxonomists and entomologists, but I will tell you more about biology. In Britain and in Europe, two subfamilies are widely distributed. The social wasp of subfamily Polystinae and Vespinae, and this whole family includes more than 800 species. Other subfamilies mostly solitary wasps, and with some exceptions of subsocial wasps for some species. These are subfamilies Eumeninae, Euparasginae, Hyliinae, Mazarinae, Zetinae. If a taxonomical position will be changed, so you can add some details under this video in comments. Well, what's about Polystinae? Polystinae, very widely distributed subfamily, and the representatives of this subfamily very interesting wasps, because adult wasps are melliferous, but the larvae are carnivorous and fed on a wide range of mashed insects by workers. Well-developed nest may contain up to 200 cells, and this is cells of Polystes, which I personally collected in attic in Ukraine, and this nest were attached to the roof of the attic. Some nests were very small, tiny like that, maybe they died, maybe and like that, but some were pretty large and with this tiny attachment, and they were attached to attic. Well, and these are Polystinae, small-sized wasp, widely distributed. The nest itself consists of small combs made of carton or attached to a substrate by the narrow peduncle, as I showed you with this narrow peduncle. The combs are open, they're completely open, and you can see here wasps, and they're also distributed widely in tropics. And they are not covered by cartoon envelope like in subfamily Vespinae. The subfamily Vespinae, for instance, in Europe contains this very large European hornet Vespacrabro, which is sitting here, and these are queens. They are sitting here in container because they were collected in the nest here near Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and actually they just hatched, emerged about 2 weeks ago, and these are females. I'm not sure if they have been mating inside this container, because I had also some males, but maybe they are unmated and sterile females, so they probably will not be able to hibernate. But what's about Vespinae? Vespacrabro is about 30 millimeters in length for workers and includes 21 species or in genus Vespa worldwide, and other genera like Vespula, Vespula, and hornet, like this one, is predominantly orange, yellow or brown in color, whilst other species black and yellow species, like for instance species widely distributed now in France and in some countries of Europe, invasive species Vespavelutina subspecies Nigritorax, which came from Southeast Asia and now very dangerous wasp in France and other countries of Europe, because this is carnivorous and predaceous species which is attacking honeybees. Actually, Vespacrabro is more or less peaceful species, but Vespavelutina is very aggressive for human being and very dangerous for honeybees. Despite this, Vespacrabro is trying to sting my brush. Okay, what for instance we can speak about species of Vespula austriaca, for example, some socially parasitic and some this is exceptional wasp, for instance, which is socially parasitic and workerless Vespula austriaca, which queens can invade nest of Vespula rufa, attack, and they are parasitic on this species. Queens of Vespa, Vespula and Vespula, they emerge from hibernation in spring, and they are seeking for appropriate sites for construction of the nest. Such sites may be in hollow trees, in suspended underground in abundant rodent burrows, or in similar cavities in the earth. They can be suspended in trees or bushes, or in many man-made cavities in and around houses and sheds and etc. Most species are very versatile and they are not restricted to a single site for nest construction. Especially it's concerning this very dangerous invasive species Vespavelutina, which is constructing the nest everywhere, under the roof, in attic, in houses, outside houses, on roofs, even inside cars, in parking place, under cars, under construction cars, everywhere, and which is very dangerous, by the way. But I will show them in collection later. Having found an appropriate spot, the queen constructs a small comb of cartoon cells suspended from a short peduncle and shielded by umbrella-like fringe of a thin cartoon, which is attached to the peduncle above and forms an envelope which is partially surrounds the developing comb, being open at the bottom. And this is construction of this nest. It can be attached by this tiny peduncle. When it is small, the small nest can be covered with a special envelope. If it attached to the attic and the nest becoming heavy, peduncle is many peduncles here, and this is the whole nest having many different combs with this kind of peduncles between them, so they attach to each other. This nest can have about 8 these combs, and they were full with larvae, with pupae, and between these combs were also adults of this species, European hornet. And they were covered with envelope, with a special envelope which was made from wooden paper, and this paper is constructed by wasps. And you can see here some white cocoons, and they didn't hatch, they died inside. So this is collection, so just for demonstration. That's why I can show you it's so easily, and I dismounted these combs because they're attached all together and they're like paper, very, very fragile. Okay, this developing comb is open on the bottom, and inside this envelope all these wasps are coming inside. Queen mortality at this stage is apparently high because this is beginning of nest, and many potential nests do not develop beyond the incipient condition. But in successful nest, the queen lay eggs in each cell of this small comb, because comb becoming initially very small, and feeds the larvae which emerge with mashed insect prey. So Vespacrabro and other species of genus Vespa were carnivorous, attacking different insects, and were bringing these insect prey for feeding the larvae inside this nest. On reaching maturity, the larvae pupate in the cells and emerge in a short time later as workers, which are smaller than queen, and workers take over all aspects of an expansion and maintenance. But the sterile females, without reproductive, were sterile and without a reproductive function. The nest continues and expands throughout the summer, and mature colony can contain about even up to 6,000 workers and can even 14,000 cells. Adult wasps, they are insectivorous, melliferous and frugivorous. They can feed on some fruits, they can feed on honey, on nectar, on flowers. They also will enter houses to hunt for sugary substances. So that's why they can be very dangerous. The larvae, on the other hand, are strictly carnivorous, and the workers catch a wide range of insects and other small animals, even some meat from our table, and also scavenge dead meat to provide the larvae with the diet they require. At maturity, during the height of the summer, a nest may reach in a diameter up to 30 centimeters, even more, and consist 4 or even more, as I showed you, broad horizontal combs of cells built one over another, and whole construction surrounded with a complete envelope of multi-layered cartoon-like paper. In late summer, the queen begins to lay haploid eggs because they are not fertilized, haploid eggs, which develop into males, and fertilized eggs, diploid eggs, which develop in queens, and they are deposited in specially constructed more large cells, in larger cells. The larvae which develop in the larger cells are given special treatment, and they develop into new queens. In this stage, the foundleress queen, which just founded the whole nest, dies in August, in September, and construction of worker cells usually ceased. In September, the new queen and males emerge from the nest, and colony then begins to go on into a long decline, gradually dying in the late autumn or even in early winter in warm countries, as workers dies off. The weather was worsened and food vanishing. Yes, because there is no food, there is a bad weather conditions, and so the whole construction is, and all workers dying, but all queens were going to hibernate. The year's production of new queens were seeking out a place in which they can hibernate, and they can begin new cycle in the following spring. These are peculiarities of biology of this very nice family Vespidae, also social and solitary wasp. I'm very pleased to tell you about these peculiarities of biology and of course to show you this nice and interesting wasp. Of course I cannot tell you about Vespavelutina, which is not so nice and which is aggressive and very dangerous for beekeeping in Europe and also of course in Asia, but which is invasive species. But this is our European hornet, which are queens are sitting here and showing you the peculiarities, little bit peculiarities of biology, because when they are active they're not only crawling but they're flying around here as well. Thank you for listening. Press like and write your comments under this video if I missed some tiny small interesting details, or add your details and your observations about this interesting social wasp. And how do you know them? Did you meet them? Do you afraid them? This social wasp, because they're making our construction of nest very big and which is going to be very dangerous, not in this way, up where, like that, yes, and they're dangerous, and of course it needs to take them off in some cases if they're very close to our houses, to working constructions, and of course, as I said, Vespavelutina became dangerous invasive species in Europe, and it needs taking care, just to be precise, kind of a liquidation, just all the constructions, because they're becoming dangerous for human beings everywhere around, because they're very aggressive, not only for human but also for honeybees, for children, everywhere, because they're curious and so on. Thank you for watching. Press like, write your comments, press on the bell to receive new stories about Hymenoptera and about insects, and this series will be continued, to be continued. Good luck and see you soon. Bye bye.
Не секрет, что друзья не растут в огороде.
Не продашь и не купишь друзей. И поэтому я так бегу по дороге с патефоном волшебным в тележке своей.